Hey brother, I'll do my best to give you my thoughts here, man. I'm just gonna start by saying it is the golden age of inexpensive guitars, I think, man. Nobody needs to spend ESP money to have a fantastic guitar. You know, these guitars are for enthusiasts like myself and like you. That said, you know, is it worth the $1,000 difference between like a high-end LTD to an ESP? It's up to the individual. For me, I justify it. I think it's worth it, but not everyone's going to agree, so let me give you my perspective. First of all, the LTD is a fantastic guitar, but it is, you know, they're coming out of a factory that pumps out numbers all day. So QC is not quite the same and materials are not quite as strong. On paper, they seem the same, right? You have an ebony board, maple cap, mahogany body and neck. You got locking tuners, good hardware, Fishman pickup. This one actually has stainless steel frets, which is a huge upgrade, but I did have some QC issues on it. Not all the frets are even. The bridge pickup wasn't mounted correctly. I've had issues with my switch, my pickup selector. And what can be hard to quantify, but what you feel is that it just feels like a factory guitar, right? Now the ESP is also a factory guitar, but it has a little bit more handwork and they're not pumping out the same numbers. There's more attention to detail. The LTD has a maple cap with a veneer on top. This is actually a true flame maple cap and just better wood selections all around. The ebony feels better. The woods just feel better and it feels like a more quality build. And it's the components. So you have better hardware here. You have a bone nut. You have Godot locking tuners. The LTD has a plastic nut, generic LTD locking tuners, generic hardware. Even though the LTD has stainless steel frets and these are nickel steel frets, the fretwork on this one is just far superior and that goes so fucking far. So this is smoother and easier to play on. They both have a 42mm nut, but I found that the LTD, the neck is just a little bit thinner. And it's a flatter fingerboard, a 13.7-inch radius versus a 12-inch radius here. So this neck is still thin, but it's a little bit thicker, I find, and with the 12-inch radius, personally, I jive with that a little better. But that's just a personal taste. Beyond that, you just have a better built guitar here with better materials, a stronger truss rod, the bone nut, better hardware. They both have great pickups. However, this one just sounds richer, sounds fuller, and it's easier to play on. Are you gonna feel and hear a drastic difference, like $1,000 difference? Again, that's up to the individual. Some people won't notice that much of a difference. Personally, I do. The LTD, as a great guitar, it just feels cheaper and it doesn't quite sound as rich. My opinion is that like you can upgrade the LTD and get pretty close to the ESP, but you still have LTD on the headstock. You can't change the woods. And with all the upgrades and buying a case, you're going to be close to that $1,000 mark in any case. You also can't change the truss rod. You'd have to take it to a luthier to get like that premium fretwork done. So no, you don't need to spend this kind of money for a great guitar, but for me personally, I think it's worth it. So my 2 cents.